it's a great topic to brides as well, because sometimes last minute brides will start doing peels or irritating their skin a month before the wedding or 2 months before. And that's what happens is we can get a rebound congestion and it looks
Mm.
like acne, but the whole face has inflammation.
Welcome to the expansion code Bridal Edition, the show for bridal hairstylists, makeup artists, beauty pros, and yes, even brides who want the behind the veil scoop. I'm your host, Heather Dick, bridal business coach, salon owner, and ringmaster of a 50-person squad that styles hundreds of weddings every year. Around here, we go beyond the hairspray. Thanks scaling your business, setting boundaries, surviving high-pressure moments, and creating client experiences that everyone raves about. So whether you're building your bridal empire or planning your big day, grab a coffee or champagne, and let's talk business, beauty, and a whole lot of bridal. Welcome back to the expansion code Bridal Edition. Today, I'm grinning ear from ear. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see I am so excited for today's episode. I have one of my dearest friends, Julie, here from the Face Institute. She's also known as the Queen of Face on Instagram. She is an absolute rock star at full face transformations. Julie, how are you doing?
So much. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Yeah, it was Julie's just opened a incredible luxury. Would you call it a medi spa?
Yeah, it's a med spa. We do,
Yeah.
luxury med
Um,
spa. Yeah.
and it's if you're in the Edmonton area, you have to check it out. It's incredible. No detail was left untouched, but she is flying all over the place. And so I am so grateful that you took the time for today's podcast episode. I think that our listeners are going to get a lot of value out of it. So today I don't really want to talk about business and money. I know that we probably could. We talk about that on the podcast enough. I want to talk about, from a bride's point of view, how to properly prepare for their wedding day skin-wise, and even throw in some aspects from a makeup artist point of view, how to prep your client. Because I think that it's really easy to kind of overstep as a service provider, if you don't have like that proper training on like how to suggest, you might have a little bit of texture, that kind of thing, and know who better to do it than you. So, this is it. Like you could talk about this like the back of your hand. We have questions obviously set up, but we'll just let this be organic and roll with it. But before we get started, I would like to know a little bit about yourself, how you got into this industry, your background, all your, education, that kind of thing.
So perfect topic, speaking of skin, because I got into this industry because of my skin.
Yeah.
So I did not have great skin growing up. So it became my biggest passion to resolve my own skin issues with acne, which led me to go on a 14-year educational journey to nurse practitioner and then practicing in family medicine as well as in the clinic in medical aesthetics. And you brought up a great point about how do you tread lightly on those conversations. And I think going through it has helped me a lot to be able to just say, okay, we're on this journey with you and we're going to help you get the best skin that you've ever dreamed of, and what the client is wanting. And going to brides, that season just passed, and we're going into the fall season where brides are coming in, and it is a very hot topic. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about this today, because skin health, skin care is a sign of youth and radiance. And we know every single bride wants to look radiant for their special day. So yeah, I'm really excited to get started on it.
Me too. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, like, I think that I can't smile any bigger.
I
So
love you.
excited. Also, when Julie and I get together, it is like
Yeah.
absolute mayhem. I think
Oh,
like even when
yes.
we go for dinner with our partners, it's just us talking back and forth, and they're just sitting
They're
there.
just like this. I'm like, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of this idea? Hey, but it's a
Uh,
full collaboration, and that's the thing, because we really, really care. And like you said about me, Heather, with with skincare and transformations, you're the makeup guru, you're the bridal guru, you know everything about the hair and the styling and everything. So they go together very well.
they
Very, very
do, they do, and I think so. I started doing makeup in 2007. We would maybe get a facial back then. Laser wasn't around. All of these more, I'm not really sure what the word is. You would know better, but like the skincare treatments that actually work, we're not really popular or even like accessible. So a bride in 2007, 2010, even as a makeup artist, we're just working with what we have. And the tools and products have come so far. Now, brides can really see, and clients in general can really see the effect that skincare treatments, injectables, all of those things can have on their skin. And so it is attainable to have that flawless skin on your wedding day or special event or even just on a regular basis. So my first question for you is, why do you think that skin prep, whether that's treatment, skincare, things like that, is such an important part of achieving that flawless makeup look?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. Skin prep is so important in so many aspects for your wedding because, well, again, depends on timeline. If
Right.
you're prepping your skin a month, you could do a short timeline or a longer timeline, but we always
Mm,
want to say a longer timeline because you can prep your skin for treatments along the way to get more of that radiant skin if you're kind of going into a more kind of luxury experience for your skin up to your big day, or you can keep it a little bit more simple and just do skincare at home.
mm,
Not which one is better than the other. I guess it just depends on the bride's expectations. And the prep itself is so important going into the makeup because if you hydrate the skin, the makeup's not just going to sit on the skin; it's going to infuse in the skin. You know, when you use these doing set sprays, it's really pushing that makeup. You know,
yeah.
layering it to make it look natural. So natural is the new thing. Everyone wants to look natural on their big day. So prepping your skin, you would need less product for the big day and you just give that radiant glow. And if there's any concerns with acne or pigment, we can address that way in advance. It doesn't
Mm,
matter how complex the case is. If we see the bride early enough, we can get them to their ideal skin for the big day. And again, you just want to feel confident, right? You want to feel
totally.
good in your skin. I know for myself, back in like if you have a pimple on your face and you're feeling it all day, it hurts, or your skin's irritated, it's not a good feeling on the big days. So that's why it's important to kind of address the internal and external.
So you talked about timelines, and I think that that's something that's really, really important that we should hit hard on because you said a longer timeline. But what does long even mean to you? What does short mean to you? Like, what does if someone only has a short amount of time or a longer amount of time? I want you to dive into that for me if you could.
So short amount of time. Let's say I've had brides come in, they're like 2 weeks before their wedding. I've had brides come in 5 days before their wedding, a month before. So what we do is we just adapt to the situation. If it's a very, very short timeline, like a month, we can keep it very simple and just use a good skincare routine at home. We could just use medical grade products that have actives in them to brighten the skin, hydrate the skin very quickly, and we would be selective with the patient on what's going to get that outcome the fastest. So we can use
Mm,
something like retinol, which will exfoliate the skin a little bit faster, and then closer to the wedding, avoiding irritants because we don't want to risk being irritated or red or anything before the wedding. And then if we have a longer timeline, it can be 3 months is a good time, six,
okay.
9, or 12.
Okay.
It's just up to the bride if they're willing to come in for the services. We can get it done in 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, a beautiful, beautiful result. And, even, with like Botox, for example, it pairs really well with skincare. So if a bride doesn't know what to do, like they have 3 months, we'll do Botox and the skincare. If we have
Mm,
6 months, we'll throw in a few BBLs, which is broadband light. We can zap out all the pigment, and then we can do the skincare and Botox. If we have a year, oh my goodness, we can fit in two Moxies, which is a resurfacing treatment, and it's the ultimate glow. Some BBLs on top to take out their pigment and redness. We'll do the skincare the whole way through, throw in a stem cell serum of plated right before, and then they're golden. You can tell I did a lot of brides
I know.
lately. I like got a whole plan in my system. I'm like, and we'll throw in a full face transformation. But
And you get a car.
yeah, yeah, and you get a car. But it depends again, expectation,
Right.
what budget is, and timeline will work with anything with a bride to get that outcome. We just have to use strategy. But if we're picking, earlier is better. So
Okay.
we have a wedding in a year, come see us. We'll get you set up and we draw out the whole plan for a bride
Yeah.
ahead.
Actually, fun fact, I started using osmosis that you carry at the clinic there, and every time I get a facial from the esthetician at Blush, she says, "Wow, your skin is so soft." And I don't really do any laser. have had microneedling like a
Mhm.
year ago, maybe. I haven't really done a lot. So I do think that because before people kind of thought that skincare didn't really do much, and it kind of maybe didn't. It's come so far, the results that you can get from skincare is actually proper now, I think.
Well, and you brought up a great point because osmosis has healing properties for the
Mm,
skin, and that's exactly what we do for brides is we wanna heal the skin and make it radiate. Like you said,
mm.
soft, smooth. That's actually our most popular skincare line for brides.
Yeah,
So,
it's so good
yeah, makes
for
sense.
anyone. Yeah. Okay, you know what? This isn't on my list of questions, but I'm gonna hit you with it. What about we have seen a lot of people come in with skin barriers that are just absolutely blown out of the water because they're using way too many products or the wrong products, and they see it on TikTok, and they're doing
Mhm.
like at home remedies and how do you guide someone away from that? What have you seen? What do you know? Like I feel like we need to educate the people here.
Yes, and actually, it's a great topic to brides as well, because sometimes last minute brides will start doing peels or irritating their skin a month before the wedding or 2 months before, and that's what happens is we can get a rebound congestion, and it looks
Mm,
like acne, but the whole face has inflammation. So when we get a patient like that, we immediately go into rescue mode for the skin.
mhm,
So we start reestablishing the skin barrier. Dermatologists will say just use Cetaphil. But when we have a bride, there's no way we're going to just go that route. We do everything we can to heal it very quickly. So, like you said, osmosis, they have the rescue serum. That would be my number
mhm,
one thing to throw in there. We would stop all peels, all irritations, vitamin C's, everything that is going to strip the skin or irritate the skin. And then we reestablish it. And then we can go back into it. So, again, if we have a longer timeline,
yeah,
that's good because we could address the skin barrier, correct it, and then start our treatments again. So,
yeah.
yeah, decreasing the inflammation, even with diet, with histamine is important with inflamed skin like that.
Yeah. I don't know if you can answer this or not. Are there any products that people really should stay away from? Like let's say a month leading up to their wedding date or services? You just said peels, but is there anything else?
Yeah, avoid peels. There will be a debate on this, but I'm gonna say
Sure.
microneedling. The
Okay.
only reason why is because you can heal fast with it, but let's just say if bacteria got in one of the holes, it could cause a
Mm,
congestion. So it's a risk. Don't do it. Just don't take any chances a month before the wedding. Just stick to your skincare routine. The safest thing to do would be like a broadband light BBL with something called Skin Smooth, which would make your skin look smooth. Nothing that's gonna puncture it through the skin. Just super
okay.
simple. Again, the most important is no peels though, like
Yeah.
nothing irritating. Yeah.
And what about products?
Products, use retinol up until like just the first week of the month and then stop. Give
Okay.
yourself 2 weeks. Again, there might be a debate on this, but you just don't wanna risk it, turning over that skin barrier too quickly before the wedding. And yeah, glycolics, avoid vitamin E if you can, especially if you're acne prone.
Mm,
It could trigger inflammatory acne really quickly. Just anything that's gonna cause congestion and too many actives and new products. So don't just start a new skincare line unless it's osmosis because it's very safe, like right before the wedding, because that is taking a chance. We only will, like, if I see a bride that's very congested because I know they've been stripping their skin, I will put them on the osmosis sensitive kit to reestablish that barrier and correct it. And then they're good for the wedding. Uh,
mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so for layman's terms, in case there are brides listening to this that don't know what stripping the skin means, could you explain that for me?
So, if you're using too many chemicals or actives within skincare, these actives are known to turn over your skin very quickly.
Mm,
So, sometimes that turnover is too fast, which leads to redness and irritation. The skin looks kind of raw and flushed, almost like you have a sunburn. That's what happens when you're overstripping the skin. So again, those products will do that. So, it's best to avoid them within a month before your wedding.
okay. Thanks, doc. Okay,
You're like, "Get down to those layman's terms. I'm just used to, like, rambling."
Jeez. We're gonna get a Moxie BBL. We're going to that I know what all of these are because I'm aware of it. But you did explain. So otherwise I would have caught you. I think budget is gonna be something that we should dissect a little bit because everything ranges from prices. I just said that I use a skincare line and have been using a skincare line since you opened. I don't remember when you opened the clinic, but when did you open again?
Last April, April
Okay.
1st.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. Time flies. So I've been using the skincare line for sure a year, and the results I've had are incredible. And I mean, it's pricey is relative to how much you have in your bank account. So I think we just like hit it straight. What are the costs of products? How much can you expect to spend on something with, let's say you have a month timeline compared to like a 6 month or a 12-month timeline?
Mhm. Safe budget, if you have around 6 months, is $500. You don't need a lot.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, it's totally affordable.
No.
Uh,
Yeah.
and if someone has a lesser budget than that, I would say probably 300, 250 to 300, we could get away with a lot. But even honestly, even $100. If a patient said, I just want to look glowy before my wedding, but I can only afford $100, I would give them a retinol up until that month. And then I would tell them to
Mm,
stop because it's that resurfacing. It's just about strategy whenever you're prepping for an event, and that's why we come in with a consultation and help a patient kind of understand what to expect, what especially with a budget between
mhm.
if it's lower, if it's higher. I find brides don't have to spend that much. I even have one.
Yeah.
I just gave a sensitive kit. Which has all of the products, and they're smaller, and it was $90.
Yeah.
So
I have
it's
it.
all
I know.
about strategy, right? So
Yeah.
every budget works. It's just how you do it.
Yeah. And then the Moxie BBL, that's I think 1,500 total. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Moxie, which is a resurfacing treatment for your skin and pores and pigment,
Yep.
it's very light. We pair it with the BBL, which is to remove the pigment and redness with broadband light, and those are paired together. And yeah, we would do it probably 5 to 6 months before.
Okay.
And you could get away with 3 months, but 5 to 6 months is ideal because you build collagen and then
Mm.
all your pigment falls off over the 2 months.
Okay. So if someone has acne scars or a lot of texture, would that a treatment be really good for them?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
perfect treatment, especially for a bride if they're closer to their wedding. That is the perfect treatment to resurface the skin and help
Perfect.
with that radiance that we're looking for. If they have longer timeline, like a year, we'd
Mhm.
probably do that treatment and pair it with microneedling on top to
Mm.
address the scarring, and then we can get more collagen in there.
Okay, I love this. And again, as a makeup artist, it would be I say this with so much love in my heart to everyone that's listening that has texture. I struggled with breakouts almost my whole life. So please don't take this the wrong way. As a makeup artist, that is probably one of the most challenging things to work with because you
Mhm.
don't want to put too much makeup on. You're going to highlight the texture, but lots of times the clients want to cover it. So then you're in this like fine balance of juggling heavier natural makeup, and it can be a little bit tricky, right? Obviously, there's lots of products and tools that we can use to make sure that you get as close to perfect as possible, but you help your makeup artist and your photographer and everyone and yourself even because then you're just going to feel good about your skin when you're able to take advantage of services like the Moxie BBL and microneedling and good skincare before because you're just setting yourself up to have like a blank canvas to work with.
Oh, I
Uh
love that. I
yeah.
couldn't with you. No, honestly, the every bride that we've had that goes through the process is so happy they did just because they feel so much better, right? Everyone has texture. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter race, doesn't matter the skin condition. And like you said, with makeup, it's a little bit challenging because
It is.
they want this treated and you're doing your best, but there's an underlayer. So that's why we pair very well together.
Mhm, yeah, that's right. And for anyone listening that has texture in your skin, it's very normal. We work with all different skin types, ages, races, all of those kind of things on a regular basis. So if you don't do any treatments, it's totally okay. It's completely your preference. But if you're hoping for that really like glass skin AI photo that you show us as your inspiration photo, chances are pretty good you're going to need a little bit of help behind the scenes. So talking about makeup artists, what should makeup artists know about how skin prep impacts their work? Like, what would you, if you were to give advice to a makeup artist, let's say, who's only been doing this for 3 years, what would be the advice that you'd give them?
To prep the client heavily with hydration prior to the application. That's going to be the best thing. And then, of course, if they can instruct like if they can give some recommendations, like the number one thing, if they can get them on a routine of retinol a
Mm,
few months before their wedding, you can even get it as a prescription from your family doctor to give perspective on how cheap it can get, right? So
yeah.
if a makeup artist is doing a trial and they see their client and they want that texture to be softer, if they see larger pores, they see that there could be some concerns on the day of, getting that exfoliation in early is the key. And then the month of, repairing and hydrating, like what we said with osmosis or anything that's just going to soothe the skin prior to the day. And then on day
Mhm.
of, as you know, your layers of bases and
Yeah, and try not to
and
drink too much. If you drink alcohol, try not to drink too much leading up to your
oh
wedding
yeah.
day, all of those hydration, I remember doing a wedding for my new gay best friends, Andy and Gerard, and I could just see their Instagram stories the week leading up to their wedding, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna have to do so much hydration." Like, it was just panic, because your skin doesn't love that. Okay, so how can artists gently guide their clients towards a service? Like, I'll give you an example. This year, we had a client who struggled with acne scars her whole life. And I think that the way that the artist approached it was just too direct and it turned the client off.
Mhm.
And I think it's important that we come from a place of caring and understanding. And so, if you have any advice for artists, how we can gently guide clients toward that, especially someone that struggled with your skin for so long, what would you say?
That's a great question, and even in our job, it's the same thing. As people come
Hmm.
in, they have an expectation of how they want things to be, and you have to try to navigate and guide them in a positive direction without seeming like you're trying to take the lead too much or be insulting. So what I typically do is I don't talk about any negatives of
Mm,
the skin. I would focus on the positives of implementing it into the routine. So,
okay.
saying a lot of brides benefit from hydrating their skin with a good moisturizer up until their big day. Does that sound like something that would interest you? Or a lot of brides benefit from using the retinol a few weeks before because they want to have that airbrush skin. Is that something that would interest you? Kind of along those lines of a positive that what's going to add
Hmm.
to your life versus, hey, I think we should do this, this, and this. It's a
Hmm.
little bit more of a gentle approach because we're all coming from a place of caring. We want to help them.
Totally.
So, and if you see something that is going to be an issue on the wedding day, and you don't want the bride to be upset about it, then you kind of want to intervene in a gentle manner, but in a positive way. This
Yeah.
is my experience. I've had a bride that went and got this facial done the week before, and she said it changed her skin right before. What do you think
Mm,
about that? Like, there's
mhm.
different ways you could frame it.
Yeah, I appreciate that approach. I think that even working when I'm working with clients, which very rarely anymore, I try not to point out what I'm seeing. Instead, speak clearly, but maybe not even to the client, if that makes sense. Like, or I know when I struggled with this, I use this product. So that if you're interested in that, I can get you some more information on that. Cause then it's like we're just talking, having a conversation instead of saying, like, you really should get laser.
Yeah.
You really need to exfoliate your skin. It's harsh.
Yeah, yeah. And also seeing what they want too, right? Like,
Mhm.
you can even ask them, what I would say in that consultation is, what are your goals with the wedding day? What are you hoping for? What are you wanting to look like? You even mentioned the AI photo. Like, sometimes you can gauge the expectation based on the photo they're showing you, right? Is it
Mhm.
super filtered? Is there, okay, so looking at that, that's AI, technology, right? Are you wanting a really smooth skin like this on this photo? Because to get there, you can kind of frame it that way. Like you said, more conversational, less targeting. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Quick pause because I have to brag on my first business baby, blush artistry. If you know me, you know that blush isn't just work, it is love. And we are talking hair, makeup, skin treatments, private personal training, the full beauty experience inside and out that makes you feel like the main character, whether it's your wedding day, a birthday, or just because you love taking care of yourself. My team, they are absolute pros. They've got the talent, the heart, and the hype to make you feel amazing. That's why Blush is the go to beauty squad in Western Canada. Can I get an amen? So if you're ready for a little glow up moment, head to blush-artistry.ca or catch us on Instagram at blushartistrymua. All right, let's get back to the show. What about injectables? Because we've talked about laser and skincare, and you did mention Botox a little bit, but as the queen of face, do you have a timeline for those services if you were going to get those services done?
Yeah, I would say, well, first within my passion,
Yeah.
first with now you're right in my wheelhouse. I'm like, I love skincare. This is next level. So Botox, of course, phenomenal for your wedding day. It's like it's a must in my books. But again, we use strategy with that. You don't want to do your. I'll tell it straight. Don't do your upper forehead
Mm.
the month of your wedding because it's going to make your brows look lower. So just don't do it. A lot of women don't like the forehead lines, but in the pictures, it actually doesn't translate well. Also, avoid your crow's feet before your wedding. Don't ever, ever do it. You'll look very flat in your photos for your big day.
Oh,
But
I
a
love that.
brow lift is a fantastic idea, but it's how it's done, not from the forehead, but from the depressor muscles between the brows. That is a great idea to do. I do brides like 2 weeks before,
Okay.
uh, 3 weeks before, and I know that sounds risky, but there's no risk if you do it in a certain way where you don't make the brows arc up. Because you know, I've
Mhm.
never seen that kind of really high arcing that some clients get. We don't want anything like that. And then fillers, you should do it up until the month of. I did a bride a month ago and I did it 2 weeks before her wedding. That's pushing it, but she was from out of town. So you
Mm.
just, because there's some swelling, and usually your swelling result can last 2 weeks. It's
Yeah.
usually 5 days, but it can continue on. So best to plan all of that a month before. A
Okay.
minimum, like 6 months, a year is even better because then you can
Yeah.
go into a full-face transformation and you can really. I'm just kidding, but you can really look at the details of the face. You know where my passion lies, but
I'm just
you
kidding.
can look, you can really like move millimeters, like little
Yeah.
shifts and have a phenomenal result by the end of the year, just because you've had a little more time to pick it apart, the little
Mhm.
detail.
And you know what? Everyone that's listening that's a bride, this goes with your hairstylist as well. I mean, I would never change hairstylists like 2 months prior to your wedding date. The longer the engagement, the easier your process should be because you're able to plan these things out. So if you're gonna go see a new injector like Julie, start a year out. The minute you get that ring on your finger, call Julie.
Yes, I love that. That's hilarious. It sounds like
Um,
wow.
but it's yeah. But it's
That's
true, because
yeah.
now you're not I mean, Botox, it depends on the person, obviously, sometimes people what's the word? Like, metabolizes in 3 months, 5 months, whatever. So you might only see Julie 2 times in that year or 3 times, but at
Mhm.
least you have a plan and you can see how you react and how things look on you, and then you can start to feel really comfortable because fillers can be dissolved, but Botox cannot.
Well, and the thing is too, exactly right, is we get it the plan to the T, and then 2 weeks before we'll do a little tweak, and then it's like your makeup. You did two trials, and then you did the
Mhm.
last trial right before, and you know it's perfect.
Mhm.
So bang on with that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love Botox and filler. I just
See, you're in my wheelhouse. It's a thing, isn't it? I still don't understand why some people are like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "You need to jump to the other side and see." Well, it's fantastic, and it creates great outcomes with small shifts. That's what's nice.
Mhm.
Very natural. That's why I'm sure like a lot of brides listening, I don't want to look unnatural is what most of the time I'll hear. And it's such minute shifts, but such a big overall impact,
Mhm.
whole facial structure that we can pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
So
And okay, unpopular opinion, but and I love flowers. I would cut my floral budget in half in order to get the proper skin treatments and injectables. I'm not kidding you. Like I would.
100%. I would do the exact same thing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's here's the thing, like your flowers die. They're gonna be photographed a couple times. No one's gonna
Yep,
remember your flowers, but you're
yep.
gonna know remember how you feel and how your skin felt and how your photos look, and that lasts forever, not the centerpieces on your tables or the carpets or, whatever, the minuscule details. I mean, I think it's very important and to invest in yourself on a regular basis. Anyways, you feel so good when you do it, you know?
Oh, yeah, like that prep prior, and like you said, it's exactly that, it's how you feel going into it. If, we have a bride that comes in and she's not feeling so great, we do everything we can, even if it's a 2-week timeline, to make sure she's feeling her best inside when she's on that day. Because 'cause
Yeah.
you're right, table pieces do not matter, no one even cares, but how
Yeah.
you, like, or show up, like, this is a new chapter in my life, is so to celebrate that with you, not the flowers,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah. So
It
so I think that's great.
yeah, I agree. We should be wedding planners. Just kidding, we don't have time.
We
Um
would love it. I feel like everyone in this room, a full face dress. I'm just kidding. They'd be like, "You know what this room needs? A transformation." You're like, "Julie, drop your syringes. You need to stop." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go back to my other job."
Uncle Bob, sit down. We need to get
Yeah,
rid of those groceries.
yeah.
Oh my god, I love that.
Oh my god.
It's so true. So funny. Kate, I think you said the myth about looking at natural, but are there any other myths about getting injectables close to your wedding date or like for your wedding date that I think people might be like really scared about?
Yeah, like the one would be like, yeah, for sure, Botox, you have to be careful. But again, it's just the placement. You don't have to be careful if you're putting it in certain spots that are no risk to
Right.
cause a problem. So that is not an issue as long as you're with the person that you has been injecting you for a long time. Not going to someone new, like you said, with hair is the exact same thing. Obviously, you have to be careful with the fillers to not cause bruising, swelling. However, there are tricks of the trade we can do to make you almost like almost impossible to bruise, not impossible, but almost. So if a bride is like desperate and they've got to get something in right before, we make it happen and they you can't tell.
Yeah.
So they say don't do everything a month the same month. It's not ideal, but we can still do it. It's
Yeah.
just in how you do it. So
Well, and
don't do
I don't what, sorry?
don't go to Groupon and get a discount ticket and then go and, like things like that. Just don't take risks
Yeah.
month of your wedding.
Yeah. In
And
anything with your wedding, I think that that's great advice. That there should be a slogan of this podcast episode is "Don't take risks." And if you recall, when I had my crooked smile, I had a huge event. This happened like a couple weeks before my huge event. Julie dissolved. She injected. She did a bunch of things to balance out my face.
mhm,
And I think we injected like 3 days before that event.
yep,
Obviously, not ideal, but
yep.
it was necessary in that moment, and I didn't look like I had just had a stroke, and it was, yeah, godsend. So, like, anything is possible when you're working with a professional. I think it's important to say that.
And that's a great and that was very complex, right?
It
You're like,
was.
came in with a complication
Yeah.
and we were able to address that's a great point because we were able to address it within 3 days, get you back to you. I remember I came in on the Saturday with you to like get this sorted, but everything is possible with the right help. And that's
Mhm.
that's a really good message because yeah,
Yeah.
you have to just be careful, right?
Yeah.
With
No Groupon.
no Groupon.
Yeah. In general. Can you share okay, so Julie just got married, in Italy in August. So I'm not actually sure when this episode's gonna air, but this year it will air in 2025. So she got married of this year. Can you share with us your personal wedding routine, what you did, skincare products? Are you comfortable sharing that?
Oh, yes, of course. I'm
Okay.
actually looking forward to see if I have it right here. Like, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, first of all, I did the Moxie resurfacing months before, and then I did the BBLs to get out the pigment and redness at that time. I did 2 microneedling sessions with PRF, which is your own blood, and we take it, spin it down, and then we take your platelets, which are essentially similar to exosomes, but they have really high growth factors. So it just makes your skin glow and look very bright and helps with texture. And then honestly, I got so busy right up to the wedding. Like The last 3 months before the wedding, I'll be honest, like, I stuck to just plated serum and PTOX. Those were
Mm,
my 2 things which is just serums at home. I did not have time to do anything else. I did not have this extreme wedding prep, like you'd think when I own a clinic. I didn't. I did nothing. I just did that's all I could do was
yeah.
plated and PTOX. And plated is a serum that was made by the Mayo Clinic, and it has 1 trillion stem cells in it. So the exosomes. It is phenomenal.
Wow.
It replaces a whole routine if you're desperate,
Oh,
which was me. I was desperate. And then PTOX, which is a neuro peptide serum. So this is a really good trick for the brides is it acts like Botox in a bottle on your skin layer. So it
mm,
removes your forehead lines by 78%, under eye lines without having to use injectables. So that's what I did.
mm.
Obviously I did Botox and filler, but like the skin quality itself. And then yeah, I'm like I had my SPF of course, but the day before the wedding I was on a boat and I was totally like I did not follow the rules, okay? And my makeup artist was like, "Are you going to get a sunburn?" Like they were messaging me. But I will say I prepped with plated and I was on plated the whole way through the wedding. I didn't burn and I was outside like all day. All
Wow.
day really.
And in
Yeah,
August in
yeah, no, the
Italy.
off season, yeah, so but the stems like, it doesn't allow your skin to it heals it very quickly, so you can
Mm,
use it on sunburns, or we actually use it post laser in every treatment,
wow.
so it saved me on my wedding, so if we're picking one thing that's gonna save you, it's 100% plated. If you wanna do a
Okay.
treatment at home, if you're, like, not from Edmonton or, close by us, I would just order plated and do it at home, it's a treatment. It's our number 1 in the clinic right now. So
Do
that's what I use.
you Okay, I do you ship
Oh,
products?
yes, all across Canada.
So you can
Yeah, especially when it's
order from
planned
Julie.
ship. Rush ship. We get it to you quick. But yeah, because and it's 1 pump every day.
Okay.
The will last you 2 months, and you're yeah, if again, the bridal budget, if it's $300, that is
Wow.
it. Just
Wow.
for it. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
that's what I
sold.
did. It's not so fancy. I thought my whole prep would be so much, but yeah, I got too busy.
Yeah, and you know what? That's so common. I mean, I deal with so many brides and it's like a mom. It's the last thing they take care of, you know? It's the last thing they take care of themselves that they're doing everything else. Especially if they don't have a wedding planner, that it's like, "Oh my god, they're pedal
Mm.
to the floor all day and they just forget to take care of themselves." So when you have a product like that behind you,
Yeah.
you don't have
Oh,
to
yeah.
worry about it.
That's the thing again when you're meeting someone and consulting, you just gotta keep it simple.
Yeah.
Use strategy. I only can do 1 product a day. Okay, we got it. I
Yeah.
only can do 2 things in this whole year. Okay, this is what we'll do. Like,
Yeah.
let the person help guide you to get to that outcome,
Mhm.
no matter what the budget, timeline, sideways, crooked. We will figure it out. Actually, that is a true story, though. I did have a bride that got Bell's palsy 2 weeks before her wedding. I fixed it. Well, I didn't fix the well,
Yeah.
we balanced out her muscles, and you could never tell.
Wow.
She couldn't smile at all to the side. And I did one of her cousin's aunts, and then she told her, "I got Bell's palsy. You had this," and she said, "Go see Julie. She fixed me. Like she balanced out my muscles." So she came in, we did it, and she was
Wow.
fine.
Wow.
Never. So again, it's like those complex situations happen. Easy situations are a breeze. So
Mhm. Mhm.
um, yeah, it's all about keeping it simple
I
and
I
staying.
really appreciate that you say that, Julie, because I think that there's a very common misconception out there in the skincare world that you need 7 products morning and night, and you are layering it, and there's specific lines out there that just when I hear someone say that they use it, it's like, "Oh my god, you're using, like, 5 serums in 1." It could just be 1, you know? And I think that when you even if you're going for a budget, something that's less money, if you compile all those products that you're using in a month, it would be the same thing as buying the plated, you know?
100%. And the thing is, when you make it so complex and you add so many to the pie, it actually can turn your skin backwards and cause a
Mm.
problem. So that's a
Mm.
that's a great point. Yeah, the 5 serums in one. you can end up causing yourself some big reactions along the way, right? And then you don't
Yeah.
know which one it is, and it's all so you wanna use the science-based products that have the studies behind it. Yeah, and then the strategy. Keep
Yeah.
it simple.
Keep it simple, girl.
Love it.
Um, okay, that's all I have for you. I feel like we covered a lot. Do you have anything, like any other tips that you would give brides or makeup artists, or we get through
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Well, I would say don't do what I did. Don't get a sunburn, like, a few days before
Yeah.
your wedding. That would be a big one, obviously. And another trick that I have up my sleeve, which is phenomenal if you're ever in a situation where your skin is really needs in an emergency state, is to use a CO2 mask, which
Mm.
is a carboxy gel mask. Actually, we used it on my mom at my wedding. She ended up with a bit of a bruise. I'll tell the story another time, but she fell.
Oh my
So
God.
ended up with a big black eye, okay? And we actually used a carboxy mask, and she was healed in 3 days. So if there's any
Wow.
emergent things that you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened my day of my wedding or the day before," you can use a mask that has 400% carbon dioxide, and it goes on
Mm.
your face, and it forces your oxygen to go to your skin and heals it in half an hour. So, there
Wow.
are so many tricks. Again, like, if a bride needs help with anything, we're always here to support. But yeah, like, if that would be one of my biggest tricks that kinda saved me. Actually, yeah, and I
Wow.
used it the morning of my wedding for my you know, just to prevent anything from peeling.
And is
And
it an at-home service or something that you like? Oh, it
it's
is.
take-home mask. So I brought 6 on my trip just in case, and my mom took all of them except for 1. And yeah, we healed her face in 3 days.
Oh
Pretty
my God, poor
phenomenal.
mama. Did you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
But
boy.
things happen that you don't expect,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, that's a top tip, I would say, is get a carbon
Okay.
mask as a backup. They say it's like your sewing kit in your with your dress. They say
Yeah.
bring a sewing kit because usually something breaks.
Yeah.
So, lots of people know that, or a stain marker. This is like for your face or for a burn or for curling iron burn. I've seen quite a few times. You just put the
Mm.
mask on it, it's gone.
Wow,
Uh,
okay.
yeah,
I'm gonna get links from you for all of the products that you talked about and the mask and all of that thing. We're gonna put it in the show notes for everyone so it can be really easy and they can just click it and head right to the websites that you're talking about because that is I've never heard that. I never
yeah,
even thought about that.
it's a rescue in a mask. Will
Wow.
rescue you very quickly. Half an hour.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's phenomenal.
Science.
Science.
Um, this was awesome. And it was like quick, punchy, it was like digestible. It was long enough that it kept people's attention, I hope, and short enough that, we keeps them wanting more and coming to see you.
Love it.
Um, so for anyone listening, if you don't know Julie, where can our listeners find you on Instagram, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's the Queen of Face, and then the clinic is the Face Institute CA. I'm so happy to answer any questions. Just send me a DM, and I'll always respond. Even if you're not in Edmonton, I have people message me all over and ask questions, so I always respond either voice note. Some people send me pictures, and just here to help you.
Yeah, that's so nice of you to do that. That's what a blessing.
Well, it's good. It's good because so many
Yeah,
people have interesting cases, right? So
I
it's
know.
brides or not, and it's like good to help out and just guide people in the right direction. Because, like you said, there's so much out there, and
Yeah.
we want the best for our brides, our patients. So yeah, happy to help.
Yeah. Okay, and do you remember when my face was crooked and I didn't realize it was crooked because no, I don't know about you, but I don't look in the mirror and smile all the time, and so I was like, "What is happening?" There's like a line on my face, and you said it was a tendon, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so the very interesting story because you messaged me, which is very common with Botox. So listeners might find this quite fascinating if they are one of them that got it done, but they don't know why, but they just don't like something on their face and they're focused in one spot. So
yeah,
Heather sent me a picture smiling, no, relaxed first, and you said, "What is this pulling?" Then you sent me smiling, and I saw that there was a whole issue in the lower face causing the upper face. And yeah, it was a ligament pulling.
a
Um,
ligament.
yeah. So we had to remove and redo and all that, but it was fantastic because you look so great for your party. So it worked
Yeah,
out.
and
We
yeah,
just had
and
to move
Julie did not do that service, I just have to preface that, but it is you're right having, like, you answering messages and things like that because it's scary, I think, especially this is not our realm, right? So you get an injectable, and even if it's your first time or 100th time, things change all the time, and so having that resource, that's really nice. You should have an app and charge for that.
I think eventually there will be like an academy or something. There's gotta be
Yeah,
some type of like yeah, I don't know. I've just been doing it for I just answer people all the time, but
yeah.
I think I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. We'll see. I'll do a
In the
training
meantime,
program
yeah,
and see other people, take it on and start helping others, and it's a ripple. That's the
it is,
goal.
and we
But
appreciate you for it because, we don't know what we're doing.
it's
Um This was so great. I appreciate you taking the time today. I know that your schedule is hectic and busy and you're out there changing lives and changing faces. But I
appreciate you.
really, really appreciate you spending the time with me and my listeners. And yeah, I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yes, catch you soon.
Okay. Thank you so much for tuning into the Expansion Code Bridal Edition, your VIP access to a booked out, balanced, and thriving bridal business. If you loved today's episode, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow beauty pro. For more tips and behind the scenes magic, hang out with me on Instagram at IamHeatherDick or visit theexpansioncode.ca. Until next time, keep slaying those styles, leading with confidence, and remember, every detail counts, and so do you. Another little disclaimer, while I love sharing advice and business wisdom, I am not your lawyer, I'm not your accountant, and I'm not your fairy godmother. If you do want to be best friends, though, you can hit me up. Everything on this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only, so no lawsuits, okay?